I need to make one thing clear before I tell this. Nobody forced me into anything. I wasn't tricked. Nobody handed me cursed instructions or dared me to prove something. I made every decision myself. That matters, because if I pretend I was manipulated from the start, then I get to feel like a victim. And I don't think I was. Not at first. At first I was just broke. Not dramatic movie broke. Not sleeping in my car broke. Just the kind that slowly changes how you think. The kind where every grocery trip becomes arithmetic. The kind where you leave lights off in rooms you're not using. The kind where your phone buzzes and your stomach drops because maybe it's another bill. After my divorce, I had downsized apartments and told people I wanted simplicity. Truth was I couldn't afford anything else. Around that time, I started hanging around with a guy named Eric. I knew him from high school. Not well. He worked odd jobs. Moving crews, clean-up contracts, estate sales. Stuff like that. One night, we were eating cheap wings, and he mentioned a property outside town. Huge estate. Old money family. Owner died without children. According to Eric, private companies handled everything before public auction. Inventory, cleanup, valuation, quiet sales. Rich people buying things before ordinary people even knew they existed. He said sometimes expensive items vanished. Not stolen exactly, just overlooked. People missed things. Cash hidden in books, jewelry, collectibles. People with access occasionally got lucky. I laughed. Eric didn't. Then he told me about the room. He said workers avoided discussing it directly. Not because something haunted happened, because arguments started whenever anyone spent time near it. Weird personal arguments. Friends suddenly hating each other. Couples breaking up. People accusing each other of things from years earlier. Nothing supernatural. Just wrong. Then he said something that stuck with me. Everybody starts acting like they remember different versions of each other. I remember laughing again, but less. A week later, he asked if I wanted in. Not officially, just to look around. I said yes before he finished asking, because I was already thinking about money. That's the truth. Estate sat behind iron gates, maybe 40 minutes outside town. Huge place. 3 floors. Stone exterior. Dark windows. Rainy evening. Cold enough to smell wet leaves and chimney smoke. Eric got us inside through a side entrance. Workers moved around carrying boxes. Nobody paid attention. Inside felt strangely normal. Not mansion normal. Lived-in normal. Half-drunk coffee cups. Reading glasses. Blankets over chairs. Like someone had walked out yesterday. People talked quietly. And almost immediately I noticed something. Nobody went upstairs, east hallway. Nobody. Workers crossed around it without seeming aware. Like avoiding puddles. I asked Eric. He looked uncomfortable. Said, "Just don't open the last door." I laughed. Again. Because apparently I never learn. Hours passed. We looked through rooms. Books. Old watches. Storage cabinets. Nothing exciting. Then I noticed something strange. People kept introducing themselves. Repeatedly. Same people. Same names. Over and over. Like they'd forgotten previous conversations. I remember a woman saying, "Hi, I'm Claire." Then 20 minutes later, "Sorry, Claire." Same smile. Same hand extended. Tiny thing. Easy to dismiss. Except others did it too. By midnight, Eric looked tense. He kept checking upstairs. Finally, I asked why. He said someone opened the room earlier. Nobody knew who. Then, "Let's leave." I should have listened. Instead, I asked where. He stared at me. Didn't answer. That was enough. Curiosity mixed with greed is ugly. People think curiosity sounds noble. It isn't always. Sometimes curiosity is just selfishness wearing better clothes. I waited until Eric helped load furniture outside. Then I went upstairs. East hallway felt colder. Not dramatically, just enough. Carpet muffled footsteps. Last door sat partially open. Not closed. Not wide. Just enough. I remember feeling irritated. Actually irritated. Because after hours of hearing weird warnings, I expected chains or locks or something. Instead, ordinary room. Small. Dusty. Desk. Chair. Family photos. Nothing else. No safe. No valuables. No hidden staircase. Just room temperature air and old wood smell. I stood there maybe 30 seconds. Then noticed photographs. Family pictures. Dozens. Wall full of them. Different years. Different people. Except something fell off. Took me a while. Relationships. People change positions. In one photo, a woman hugged one man. Later photo, same woman beside, different husband. Children moved. Parents changed. Same faces. Different relationships. I remember thinking maybe remarriages. Divorce. Blended families. Normal stuff. Then I noticed dates. Too close. 1 month apart. Same people. Different lives. Suddenly footsteps behind me. Eric. Angry. Actually angry. Grabbed my arm. Dragged me out. I asked what his problem was. He said, "You went inside." I said, "So?" Then he stared at me strangely and asked, "Why'd you bring Lisa?" I remember blinking. Lisa was my ex-wife. What the hell did that have to do with anything? I laughed. Told her we divorced 2 years ago. He just stared, then said, "No, you guys were together last month." Silence. Long silence. Because Eric had known me during divorce. He knew. Absolutely knew. Then he frowned, confused, and said, "Wait. Just wait." One word, like thoughts shifting. Then, forget it. Downstairs atmosphere changed after that. People quieter, watching each other. A couple arguing softly near kitchen. Workers avoiding eye contact. One man insisting he'd never met someone everyone claimed he drove there. Small things. Tiny fractures. I found Claire crying in dining room. Asked what happened. She said her fiancé kept calling her Sarah. Over and over. Then she asked, "Do I know you?" I said no. She looked relieved. Like that mattered. Eric wanted to leave immediately. Drive home. Forget everything. Instead, I got angry. At him. At everybody. Because part of me thought this had become performance. Mass panic. Suggestion. People feeding off each other. Then I said something. Something stupid. I said, "If everyone's losing their minds, maybe you're all just weak." Eric looked hurt. Then angry. Then confused. Again. Subtle. Like watching someone search for a word. Then he said, "Who are you?" I laughed. Stopped laughing. Asked what. He just stared. I remember cold spreading through me. Real cold. Because Eric wasn't joking. You can tell. People always can. He looked genuinely unsettled. Like meeting a stranger wearing someone's face. I drove home alone. Eric refused ride. Said his brother picked him up. Eric doesn't have a brother. Next day I called. No answer. Texted. Nothing. Then I checked social media. Eric had family photos. With brother. Years of photos. Birthdays. Vacations. Comments. Everything. I sat there staring. Because I knew Eric for 15 years. No brother. None. I called mutual friends. Casually asked. Every single one said, "Yeah, his brother Mark." Like obvious thing. Like asking if rain was wet. I didn't sleep that night. Or next. Then things got worse. My ex-wife Lisa called. First time in almost a year. Asked why I missed dinner. I thought wrong number. Then she got quiet. Asked if I was drinking again. I remember feeling ice in my chest. Because she talked like we were together. Not nostalgic. Not joking. Current. Present. I hung up. Checked phone gallery. Photos changed. Not all. Some. Trips I never took. Restaurants. Pictures together months after divorce. I started shaking. Called Lisa back. No answer. Then I drove there. Needed certainty. Needed reality. She answered door, looking annoyed. Not surprised. Annoyed. Apartment looked familiar. Because I'd helped choose furniture. Furniture we bought before divorce. Except framed photos covered walls. Recent photos. Together. Me and her. Smiling. Living life I never remembered. She asked where I'd been sleeping for 3 nights. 3 nights. I remember backing away. I think I apologized. I honestly don't remember. Days after that blur. Were called asking why I'd quit. Quit. Apparently, I'd submitted resignation weeks earlier. Bank transactions changed. Messages changed. People changed. Not dramatically. Small. Tiny cuts. Death by inches. I went back to estate. Locked. Auction finished. Property sold. Gone. Eric's number disconnected. I spent months trying to prove something happened. Couldn't. Because evidence moved faster than memory. And eventually I noticed something worse. My memories felt weaker. Not disappearing. Just outvoted. Like hearing your own voice in crowded room. 6 months ago, I saw Lisa at grocery store. She smiled, hugged me, asked if I'd be home for dinner. I almost corrected her. Almost. Then I stopped, because part of me couldn't remember anymore. Not fully. That's what scares me. Not monsters. Not ghosts. It's this. I think there was a point where I could have held onto who I was. And I missed it. 3 weeks ago, I found an old photo while cleaning. Just one. Me. Eric. High school graduation. I flipped it over. Writing on back. My handwriting. It said, "If you find a version where you're happy, stay there." I don't remember writing it. I don't remember taking the photo either. But sometimes I look at Lisa sleeping beside me, and for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, I can't remember whether I ever divorced her at all. And honestly, those seconds keep getting longer.